What's up, folks? Welcome to Grim Tuning 101. I'm Grim, and on this series we're going to be taking everything from a 2005 STI and dropping it into a 2001 Impreza Outback. For right now, we're going to be focused on how do you bond a body kit. Not bolt it, but actually bond it. So over the next couple episodes, I'll do step-by-step on how to get your body kit prepped and fitted and then bonded. So get ready for some cool stuff. Let's check it out. What's up, folks? So this is the passenger side quarter panel piece, and then we're gonna mount it. But the problem is, normally you would just bolt it in. All right, just put it on there, kind of sand it down to get it fit flush, or as best you can, and then you put a rubber gasket in between where everything meets, and that gives you, it covers up any of the rigidness and gives you a fairly good clean look. Instead, what we're gonna do is we've got all these areas that are super thin. So there's this one, and then there's this part right here, and this goes right against the body, and we can't, there's nothing to actually glue it with the like some 3M panel bond. There's nothing to actually hold on to it, so we have to create that. So step one in this is first we had to get it to sit flush. After that, we're going to improvise, and we're going to beef up these edges, and I'll show you all that kind of stuff step by step. All right, so step one, we've got to get the body kit on the car somewhat, and figure out what we need to take down. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't sit anywhere near perfect, and this is normal. You get a body kit, it's made from a mold, it's going to warp, it's going to bend, the mold's been used a couple times, it's going to be a little out of whack. So as you can see, there's different gaps. There's like a big gap there, there's a big gap here. We're going to sand down the touching points until the whole body kit sits flat against it. Now we're going to take out somewhere between 3 and 4 mil off of this side, just like we did on the other side throughout the process of actually getting it to fit. But we do want to take out almost as much or perfectly on this side as the other side, because that's going to get into wheel fitment. So something to be very careful of and mindful of later on. Okay, I need to take off here. All right, so we'll hit this down with a 180 grit sandpaper, and you can probably get away with much lower, like anything under 100. We're just roughing it up. We're just gonna knock it down, get it to sit smooth, and go from there. We're not worried about the paint finish. We're not worried about any of that stuff. So let's get it going. All right, cool. Now that we're covered it completely in dust, I've got everything except for this bottom section is good. So what we'll do is we're gonna bolt it up, and then I will just keep on sanding this section down a little bit at a time. I'll pull it away, sand some more down, put it against the car until it comes back up. It's pretty much, this whole groove is good. I mean, I may take out a little more out of here a little eventually as it gets closer. But realistically, all I've got to do is take out this bottom tip until it lays flat. And then we're done, at least with this step. So. getting ready to put holes in your car, there's no such thing as too much tape. Alright, check it one more time, make sure we're good. So now comes the scary part. You're putting a screw through the side of your car. You've already made it past cutting your fender, so this ain't that bad. Anyways, just need like a 1/2 inch flathead self-tapping screw. You're going to be putting these in and taking them out constantly. You're not worried about keeping it super clean and trying to use something like Cleco pens or whatnot, because we're going to fill it in when we do all the rest of the dress up work on the body. So just get it on there and use these self-tapping screws to get your body kit perfectly level and stationary, and just go from there. No worries, no scare. Alrighty, now we just grind to fit. Okay, so how and why to build it up. So the why, we're going to glue it, and there's not a whole lot of meat here, so we're going to make this thicker. We're going to get it to about the same thickness as the metal that remains in the wheel well, and then we're going to make a piece of fiberglass that goes from here over to the door panel, into the door jamb, and then when we go to actually seam it with the 3M panel bond, we'll glue that overlapping piece and this new ridge that we build up. All of that's going to get glued to the car, and that makes for a much more stable, steady, stronger bond that won't just vibrate loose. All right, that's the why. Now the how. We want it beefed up the side. We don't want to be going back and forth sanding a whole bunch. So how can we cheat? Well, it's actually pretty easy. We're gonna use Bondo glass filler, or Bondo glass. Bondo glass doesn't stick to aluminum foil, and it also doesn't stick to saran tape, like the big packing tape. So in order to make this thing really easy to remove, we'll put down some aluminum foil over this, and then we'll put some tape over that, and then we'll start stuffing some Bondo glass. From here on, you're not really going to do anything that is going to adjust the width of the kit. And it's super important, and here's why. Before you do this step, take a measurement. Go find 2 or 3 exact same reference points in each wheel well and measure from that point out to the edge of the fender lip and make sure it's exactly the same. In my case, the driver's side was 16 3/4 inches from the deepest most point out, and the passenger side was 17 inches. So I had to go back and take off an entire other 1/4 inch, basically from almost the entire panel, to get it to sit right. It's kind of aggravating to get that far and then be like, oh no, I've got to do this. But the catch to it is, if you don't do this, it's all going to be wrong. So there will be headaches. Fight through them. Just take that extra step to make sure it is going to be perfect. Okie dokie. So, this cavity right through here, we're gonna make it so that we can actually take this thin lip and build it out till it's as thick as this region right here, and that'll give us more area to glue to when we actually go to glue it. And then we'll do the same thing up here, because you can see that same gap actually exists up there. So that's what we're gonna do, and that's how we're gonna fix it. Okay, here's the answer to the question the new guy's always afraid to ask. How do I mix the Bondo glass? What do I mix it on? How much hardener do I add? Okay, for starters, get you a little bit of aluminum foil, make a little sheet out of it. This is a disposable tarp that you can mix your Bondo on. Then you take and you just scoop out some of the Bondo glass onto there, and it's going to kind of level itself out into like a thick puddle. Then you take your hardener and you draw a line from one side of the blob to the other side of the blob. That's it. If it's super cold, maybe add a little bit more, but like no more than just a drop. A little goes a long way. And then just sit there and mix it up until it starts turning into either a darker green or a brown. And then you can start applying it. But be careful. It's super messy, especially if you're trying to do it upside down like me. You will make a mess. Wear gloves. Yeah. Okay, so what do? We just basically filled it in with a little bit of snot. We held it up till it's started to dry. It's a little bit messy, but no big deal. We'll sand it, and when we undercoat the car, we're going to undercoat the body kit too. So it'll be one smooth color and transition for everything, which means it's going to hide a lot of our blemishes and whatnot like that. Being on the underside, all I care is that the meat that we use to glue to the car is strong and sturdy. That's the only thing that matters, because if it breaks loose, then it's going to separate, and then it's going to look like crap in no time. So we'll let this dry for a couple hours, and we'll come back and probably check it out tomorrow and do the top side. Well, that's it for tonight, YouTube. Tomorrow I'll get back to work on it. I'll go ahead and start recording. I'm not sure when the next episode is going to upload, but we'll cover when we take that piece off and then getting it prepped and then doing the top half and go from there. So if you've liked this episode, learned something, hated it, comment, let me know down below. Subscribe, get the notifications going so that when I do upload the next episode, you're in the loop. In the meanwhile, peace out.